today we'll be finishing off that portion, the model interpretation techniques. So some of the techniques we looked, like you looked at this embedding technique, that was some traditional techniques. And then you already know we talked about the accuracy, precision, and all those matrices which are commonly being used. In detail, we'll be looking at these matrices in module 3. So that's why I'm not getting into these details of how they are calculated. So these were some traditional techniques: accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, the ROC curve, these arrows plotting this ROC curves corresponding to different classifiers. So, and the confusion matrix also, yes, confusion matrix also. So all these things we'll be looking in detail in module 3. So we then move to some modern interpretation techniques like feature importance. So for instance, what feature importance does is, let's say we have these many features corresponding to our model. Okay, so let's say not all the features will be important for the prediction. Some of them might be very important, some of them might not be important. So I have plotted the relevance of all the features using this matrix. You can see this. So here it shows that how much age is relevant or is responsible for the model prediction, how much education number is important for your model prediction. So you plot a correlation between a feature and the output which we want, to predict. If the correlation is high, then obviously this feature is important, right? If suppose I remove the age feature, now the output will definitely be not correct, because this age factor has the highest amount of correlation or dependency with the output. Similarly, education number, capital gain, relationship, everything is there. Now what we do is, sometimes people, they just remove these. Let's say I remove all these features from, let's say, this point, and consider only these features and see what is the performance of my model. So this is how usually people work. They plot the correlation curves, maybe, which says how much a particular feature is dependent on the output. Based on the degree of correlation, they select the features there. Now here you can say, let's suppose I have only 10 features. In real life, as I said, you have thousands of features. So it might happen that they only keep the first 200 features and remove all those features, and see how well the model is performing. So that's how this hit and trial somewhat is being done, that then they might keep the first 300 features and see if by including more features the model is, predictions are not getting improved so much. So they might get an idea that, okay, now we don't need so many features that way. These 200 features are good enough if we tune the model accordingly. So this is one of the way. So we usually go for the we usually go for techniques like partial dependence plots and many other visualization techniques. So we have some libraries. So the scatter library is one, sharp library is one. So, and various different am I audible? I think there was some network issue.
Yes, ma'am.
There was some network issue that way. So one second. Yes. So we use libraries like Scatter and all these libraries. So different libraries are there for visualization. So these libraries, they have made the load of the programmer very less. So you just need to feed the libraries with different features. They automatically give you very good visualization. So one such is the partial dependence plots. This is one such example. You can have many different visualization techniques based on, even you can't think that how can I interpret or visualize my model, but when you go for these libraries, you just feed the features, it will automatically give you some beautiful interpretations which might help you in judging how well the model is performing. So for example, here I have this representation of how the education level is impacting the salary of the people. So if the education level is more, so accordingly the salary of those persons are more, salaries are increasing. Now we can take more than two features that way. Let's say I take education as well as age to see how education and age are impacting the salary of the user. So you can see at this particular curve, maybe the peak is at this particular point, which might say that the middle age people, okay, with somewhat high education level are earning more. These are some of the examples. If let's say some person are not able to interpret it, they can go for different visualization plots, not the 3D one, maybe some other plots that way to interpret their results. So these are some of the libraries, and even one such library is Lime. Yes, Lime is also a very famous library which gives you the explanations for your model. So now basically, with the when this explainable AI is coming into picture, these modules or these libraries are getting very much popular. So people are increasingly using these libraries for the explanations. So you can see this video to see how Lime is working.
Sometimes you don't know if you can trust a machine learning prediction. Take a doctor, for example. They cannot trust a diagnosis just because a computer said so. You also need to know if you can trust the model before putting it into production. Let's say we have a machine learning system that can detect wolves. We can look at accuracy and at some of the predictions, and they may look good, but is that enough for us to really trust the machine learning system? What if you could understand why any classifier is making a prediction? Even incredibly complicated models, such as neural networks, random forests, or SVMs with any kernel. Wouldn't that be cool? It's easier to trust a prediction if we can understand the reasons behind it. Going back to our doctor, if the model told him which symptoms are important, he would trust it. It's also easier to figure out if you shouldn't trust a model. If our wolf detection system is actually just detecting snow in the background, we will not trust it, even if the accuracy is high. I said it would be pretty cool if you could understand any classifier. With Lime, you can. LIME is short for Local Interpretable Model Agnostic Explanations. Let's look at this acronym from the bottom up. We know what explanations are. By model agnostic, we mean that LIME treats the model as a black box, so that it works for any model. Interpretable means that the explanation produced by LIME is simple enough for a human to understand. Finally, local refers to how we get these explanations. LIME approximates the black box model locally, in the neighborhood of the prediction being explained. With LIME, we can explain why a random forest thinks this email is about atheism. It picks up on words such as atheism, or God with lowercase g. It also thinks that God with uppercase G is evidence for Christianity. Or why Google's Inception neural network thinks this image is a guitar or a Labrador. In our experiments, we show that these explanations help real users do all sorts of things, such as choosing between competing models, detecting and improving untrustworthy models, getting insights into the model. Lime helps you finally answer the question, why should I trust you? Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our paper and open source release. It includes the complete source code and IPython notebook tutorials so that you can explain your own classifier.
So this was about line. Next, we'll be moving to some of the applications of AI. So for this, I will be requiring your help. So what you people have to do is, not in this session, in the next from Tuesday onwards. So I will be selecting 6 people, and those 6 people will be given some topics related to the application of AI, and you have to give let's say 10 to 12 minutes of presentation maybe, or explanation of how AI is impacting that particular area or sector. So this is the whole idea. Now for those selecting those 6 people, first, any volunteers that way? Because see, your class presentation will obviously be counted. If at the end of the day you people are not participating or not there in any of the activity, your marks will be gone. So do not come to me at that time, because if I already said that in the class we'll be doing some activities everyone has to do. Those who are left, who do not present, who just simply leave or do not attend, their marks will automatically be affected. Then don't come to me and say that the marks are less also.
Ma'am, I
And
would like to volunteer.
yes,
If you know.
okay,
Yeah, and ma'am, one more thing. Ma'am, some people cannot attend the class because
yes,
I mean we have internships and jobs going on. So if there is, I mean, we understand that we should be attending it. At the same time, if there's like some important assignment or something that's marked going on, just like letting us know. I mean, letting us know sometimes would be helpful. I
yeah.
mean, I know that's like against your policy or whatever, but
No, no, no.
that would
Manav,
help.
I was coming to this only for all those who are interning or doing some job. I will be circulating a Google form so that I can get to know who all people are there, how many people are there, what are their timings, and all those things. And I'll be connecting to them, and accordingly, I will be evaluating them, marking them, or giving them all the assignments or everything. So accordingly, I'll be coordinating with them. So I was about to say that only.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That would be great. I mean, everyone would appreciate that.
Yeah, that. So I think in the evening after the class of the second batch, I will be circulating a Google form on LMS so that I can actually get an idea of who all people are working, what are their timings, and all those things. So please ask your friends, to all those who are interning or doing some job, to do fill that so that at least I can get an idea of how many people are there, and accordingly I will process it. Otherwise, if your name is not there in that list and still you are working, I will be under the impression that you are not working and your grades might be affected that way. Okay, so yes, any volunteer? Okay, Manav, you already did the first task, that presentation one. Remember that Andrew NG one. So I don't want you to again participate. Let others also. Let me see if others are also there. If any case they don't volunteer, I will select you. Is that okay, Manav?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. So anyone, any other volunteers? Otherwise, I will have to select. Yes, starting with Chahat. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Chahat, so you also have, I mean, you will be given one topic. So I think you got the idea what I was trying to say, that I will be giving you some topics related to the AI domains. You have to explain how the AI is impacting those domains. So for you, the domain is application of AI in insurance.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes.
your name is Shahadra. Okay. So okay. And next, okay, next, Nirupam, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm there.
Okay, great. So, Nirupam, your topic is AI for trading. Okay, how
Yep.
AI is impacting trading.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, when we have to give the presentation, ma'am? Next
I
class
will
or?
I will explain you. Just first, I just shortlist the students. I will be explaining after that. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. Um, Shivendra Prasad.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Shivendra. So for you, the area is AI in aerospace. Quite interesting.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next, I think it's Kotha Kumar. Are you there? Okay, I think someone has raised his hand. Fanindra, if I spell you correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you want to volunteer for third?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So for you, the topic is application of AI in agriculture.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, two more just left. So anyone who wants to volunteer? Okay, so one more. I can't spell your name. You yourself
Shrikant,
spell
ma'am.
Shrikant. अच्छा, your first name was हाँ Shrikant. ठीक है. Shrikant, volunteer. So your is application of AI in tourism.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Shrikant. Last, just one left. Anyone? Okay, so uh, Sesh Gopi Seti, if audible. Okay.
Yes,
So your
yes,
is AI in national security. How AI is
yes.
helping in national security. Okay. Okay then.
National security.
Yeah, national in the security. Yes. Of let's say your own country, maybe any other country. It will be great if you see if you can come up with something in our country of how AI. Though in our country, AI in national security is not I mean, so much in power as compared to some countries like US, China, and Russia. Still, let's see what you come up with. Okay, completely up to you.
Yes,
Now, again, so we have Tuesday and Wednesday for these presentations, the coming Tuesday and Wednesday. So you have complete 1 week for that. So for Tuesday, the first three people, Chahat, Nirupam, and Shivendra, you will be giving presentation on Tuesday, the coming Tuesday. That is, let me just see the calendar. That is 14th of September. Yes. And the rest three, the last three will be giving presentation on the next day, Wednesday, that is 15th of September. Your presentation will be of 10 to 15 minutes majorly, between 10 to 15 minutes to be honest. Don't stretch beyond 15 minutes because even if three presentations are there beyond for 15 minutes, we have 45 minutes that way. So do not stretch more than 15 minutes. Yes, anyone wants to say?
No, ma'am. Okay.
So do not stretch your presentation beyond 15 minutes. Keep it between 10 to 12 minutes will be fine. So and what I look for is that how AI is impacting your domain, uh, the domains which I have given you, how AI has transformed them basically. So you just try to put some real life examples of how it is actually impacting. That way, it will be more interesting and more relatable also. Apart, not just focusing on some theory part. So try to incorporate some real world examples, and if possible, positives. Positive will be conveyed somewhat by the good real world example, and if possible try to incorporate some negative impact of AI in your sector too if possible. That would be good. So just that how the AI is transforming your particular industry with some good real world examples. and if possible any negative impact of AI in your domain. That's it for this 10. And apart from that, everything will be your idea what all you want to keep. So try, and like real world example is like you can also focus on some companies also, that how they are using AI in their domain. For example, in insurance, you can explore and see any company, any insurance company who has started using AI, how is it doing, or how it is impacting the customer or the business process. These all things, I mean, these are some of the ideas which I'm giving you. So this is how you people can work. I mean, correct? Am I clear? Any other problem?
Ma'am, I
Ma'am,
wanted to confirm my topic. It is AI in insurance, right?
This is who? Chahat. Yes. AI and insurance.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
ma'am, do we need to make any PPT or else just
See,
voice over?
it will be better. See, if you will be explaining, so just a voice over will not be sufficient. It's better if you have a PPT, even 4, 5, 6 slides, any slide, just to convey your idea.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that is the main part. I don't need any official PPT, any fancy good PPT, just to convey your idea. It's better, when you explain, you have a PPT. Even that is a better way to explain things.
Okay.
If possible, you can incorporate some videos, some small videos also of 1.5 minute maybe. Okay, if those videos make sense and is able to explain your idea properly, you can incorporate those video also. Anything, any video, audio, or anything. Try to make it completely interactive, interesting, and so that we all can completely relate to of how AI is actually evolving in all these sectors with some real life examples, not theoretical. I don't need any theoretical part that way, only some practical and good examples.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so coming to one of the application of AI in finance sector. Now, what is the current scenario in finance sector is now, currently, in finance sector, we have, suppose if I took example of stock prices. So initially, what used to happen is that we take the risk model to have a linear relationship with all the dependent variables. So suppose I have an equation, let's say y is equal to wx1 plus wx2 plus wx3, right? W1, W2, W3, that way. Okay, so initially, if all these are the independent variables, and y is a dependent variable which is depending on all these variables x1, x2, x3. These variables, these x1, x2, x3, they have some weighing factors attached to them. I'm explaining it in a very, you can say, basic language. And it was assumed that these weighing factors of all these x1, x2, x3 independent variables uh, will be constant and won't change with time. You have some similar amount of data and the weighing factors, so that when the weighing factors won't change, the model, you do not need to change the ideology of your model. Everything that is there is going that way. So this was the, I mean, the scenario which was going before AI, not the current scenario, but the scenario which was going before the evolution of so much of data and all those things. However, when the AI and lots of data came up, this was no longer a linear relationship, because data keeps on fluctuating, adding. And not only that, we do not have a clean data that way. We have data which is false and even fake. So how do you, like the stock market, you see, whenever there's, if some fake news is being circulated, those fake news will definitely have the impact on, let's say, the prices of the stock, although the news was fake. So now, with the with fake news, everything, and more data, this becomes this, the finance model is becoming more and more complex that way to handle the lots of data. Now, what AI enablers are doing, so how AI technology is helping to, get the correlation of this big data and offer decision support. So, for example, some financial institutions are using it for the ESG evaluation. Now, this is a very common term in finance, ESG, and companies like, if you have heard of company, let's say S&P Global, which is a very powerful and very famous company. You have heard about those. You might have studied the McGraw-Hill's books also of, let's say, C, Java, C++. Complete reference with C. They all were published with McGraw-Hill's, and the McGraw-Hill's belongs to this S&P only, the publisher. So S&P keeps on taking over different markets. So recently it has taken over or merged with IHS Market, which is also one such firm. So it's a very big company. So it also uses the S&P Global also uses this ESG evaluation. Now, what is this ESG evaluation and why do we need it? So ESG evaluation is a set of standards, some set of standards that the company should follow. So in finance, like if an investor wants to invest in a particular company, they will look at the ESG value of that company. The higher that value, the more impactful that way they can show that our company. So somewhat an evaluation measure which can measure how well we are doing. So this ESG components comprises of environmental, social and government criteria. So these three things comes under this ESG evaluation. So what are these three things? So firstly, the first thing, environmental, says that how any company performs towards the nature, or with what benefit or how it is contributing to the nature. Now this environmental criteria is becoming very important nowadays. Even when you join some company, or in case you might be working with some big companies, so they have a separate, you can say, procedure or a department to see how our company can benefit the employees. Even they come up with different, you can say, rewards or awards if the employees contribute something towards the environment. So why do they do so? Because all these things keep on adding to their environmental criteria, or any criteria that way, if they follow, where environment is a part. So recently, the companies have started switching towards the things in which they can contribute to the environment. Second is the social criteria, which is very evident that how the company uh, manages the employees, supplies their customers, and how well they are able to manage all of them. So this comes under the social criteria. And the governance deals with the company's relationship, how company is, uh, the leadership, how what is the leadership policy in the company, the audits, the stakeholders, the shareholder rights. So all these things comes under the governance part. So you can check out this link later on and see this link contains the explanation of the ESG criteria in a more beautiful way. So you can go and check that what are these ESG criteria. Now, with the banking sector, in this sector, now what happened is, AI, you can say, in this industry is expected to save more than 1 trillion by 2030s thanks to AI. Now, uh, it is not in this sector only, in different sectors also you will see that the power of AI is impacting the jobs of many people. But still companies are increasingly interested in using AI, and simultaneously some of them, so we look at JP Morgan also, simultaneously some of them are uh, let's say giving their employees the training and all those things so that they are at level or at par with the latest technology. Because what happens is, if you have a latest technology in your company, suppose you work in a bank, or the bank is using some latest technology or working on, let's say, blockchain, and you have no idea about what this blockchain is all about, then obviously at some point you will, there will be a pain point there for you. Now companies, the higher the like companies like JP Morgan, which is the largest bank in US, so they start the training of the employees before even getting into that technology. And not all companies can first afford it, can think of it, and do not do it. So that's how, and it becomes very difficult, because those companies, they have 2 to 3 lakh of employees, and giving training, managing them becomes yet another big task. But again, companies are now moving and thinking in this situation, that if we plan to use this in our company, accordingly we want our employees to get well versed with it, to train it, so that there is, we, our company, can be at par with the current industry sectors. So for example, in the banking domain, chatbots and virtual assistants, they have become very common. Now these technologies, they have reduced the work of the bank so much that, initially the customers, all the queries, like let's say the basic queries, or customer emails, or the banks used to flooded with lots and lots of call center queries and the customer emails. So the traditional customer service was not so much powerful that it could handle so much amount of queries, call center queries, emails, and all those things. Now with the help of this automated, this chatbot, everything got automated. Now whenever you call the bank, everything is automated. They can simply direct you, answer your queries. And finally, whenever you call a bank, finally, if nothing works, if maybe out of 100 calls, only 40 calls are there which directly goes to the man there, to the representative there, where you actually talk to a human. Rest everything, maybe let's say 60% of the things are being done by the chatbots themselves. So again, this thing has transformed the banking system, and they are now using it so that the entire volume of data gets reduced, and they are able to serve the customers that way. Even now, for example, so this was an American multinational financial institute. So it uses this chatbot for the conversational interaction. So what happens is, earlier we used to have command based interaction. Now we can, type full conversation that way, a proper sentence, like someone might ask that what is my balance. Some people might write, tell me my balance, or many ways you can ask this particular question. Now these bots are intelligent enough to handle these different variations of the questions and can answer accordingly. So this is not command based. You are not entering some command like balance, so it gives you the balance. No, you are having a conversation with the chatbot. And now with the help of NLP and all those things, people are using this conversational chatbots, and they only are getting popular, because you can directly communicate with them that way. It looks much, you feel connected more to them. So see, developing some chatbots for this, you can say, financial institute, and answering all those queries with them becomes, reduces the load of the banks that way. And even as they get, and the best part about them is that as they get more data, I mean, as they hold more and more conversations with the customers, they try to learn from those data. So all those data is being recorded, is kept, and the training keeps on happening. So that's why we have different versions of, let's say, chatbots or any different app we are using. So obviously the new version might have new features, some it will be better obviously than the previous one. So all this happens, the training keeps on happening so that they get better with time and time and time. So this is how it is done, because see, again, they need data, and the data here is the data which is completely related to the financial domain itself. So the model will be exposed to different variations of the input, and the more it is being exposed, the more better it performs. So initially, obviously, the chatbots we use, let's say, might not be so well, but as they are being exposed to data, they become good and good. So, like, okay, so this was the Bank of America's virtual assistant, Erica. So, like, the Bank of America's assistant, Erica, is able to understand 5 lakh variation of questions. So see how well it has been trained, and out of the 27 million users, active mobile users, 7 million of them have activated the chatbot and are using their services. So see, they are able to get data from 7 million users, and that's how it is able to answer so many different variation of questions, because the more data they are getting, the more better they are performing. So these are some of the tasks which the Erica can perform. So obviously the burden of the bank is reduced that way. One more thing which is important is the cross-selling feature in bank. I don't know whether you are aware of this cross-selling feature. So this cross-selling feature, what it does, cross-selling is what? So suppose even if you go and buy something online, so you see some add-ons, right? Like you are going for a checkout in the mobile app, you then see some add-on, you can add a dip, let's say you can add something like quick bites and all those things. So this is referred to as cross-selling, means selling one product instead, I'm selling one more product with the one that is already being taken, already being sent. So if I am taking one product, so someone can suggest me or recommend me that you should go for this also, this is also very good, you can take it. So I am using that product, I am taking that product also. So this is cross selling. So even bank use this cross selling features. So for example, if let's say I have taken any I have a savings account in my bank, and I am using one particular, let's say, policy, or any policy that I am taking, it might recommend me to take second policy also, or maybe some take another loan, or recommend something other to me. Why they do is so that we can have more and more dependency with the bank. Now suppose I have savings account as well as my current account with the same bank. Now the more amount of dependency I will have with the bank, the the more associated I will be to that bank. So I can be a loyal customer to that bank, because obviously if everything is there with one bank, why will I bother to roam around with different banks? So now, which product, or let's say which policy or anything to suggest to which customer, that is being done with the help of AI now. Initially, people initially they used to target the customers based on their portfolios or historical spending, maybe some one or two factor, and that's how they used to recommend. But with the help of AI, we can take into attribute many features that way, and maybe we can suggest or recommend them some better policy in which they will definitely be interested in. So this is how in cross selling also AI is being impacting. Now one more thing, yes, this was with one European bank. One European bank, what they used is they used to take the email address of the you can say user, and they also with the help of that email address they used to monitor the social media activities of the user. So here you can see the social media account of the user is being activated. Why? So that they can check the activity or feed of the customer. So suppose if the we usually post on social media that I've bought a new car, or my job is being changed, or let's say someone gets married, their marital status gets changed. Now you see, based on all these factors, how the bank is offering them different offers or products or that way. So if the marital status is changed, the mortgage lending benefits, the home loan, and all those things are being recommended to them. Car, if the client has bought a car, car insurance is being recommended to them. So that's how people are becoming smarter, and they are promoting, or you can say giving them the offers which will actually be beneficial for them. And you never know, maybe out of all these things, someone might, obviously when people usually take a new car, they usually go for car insurance, obviously. So the bank is there for you, and it will obviously give you the car insurance. So that's how they keep on tracking also. So that are some of the very clever thing that the banks are now using. So this was an example of one European bank which is using this technology to track and give offers to their customers. So next, there was, the time is also getting over. I just wanted to complete this case study also of JP Morgan. So what this case study is, so JP Morgan, as you know, the investment bank in America and the biggest bank in the US. So I already told you it has around 240,000 approximately employees and millions of customers, obviously that way. So now, how JP Morgan used this AI technology? Now, when the bank started, I mean, not started, eventually, in when you work in a bank, so obviously these banks do have lawyers associated with them also. There is a different department for lawyers also, and in that department, so what happens is, in the legal profession especially, uh, you have lots of uh, tasks like reading the papers or going through the legal document and going through large chunks of data, reading it. So lawyers manually read all the big files, you see a number of files, huge data, and then come up with something. So this entire document review process takes, I mean, more hours. I think lakhs of hours. Yes, 360 degree hours each year tackling these tasks. So the bank usually spends I mean, the lawyers usually spend so much time, lawyers as well as the officers, because when you give loan, so everything, documentation and each other things. So they, all these are the core human work which requires lots of reading, review process, and all those things. So at this point, the JP Morgan used the AI technology so that it can automate all these things. So it used the coin intelligence. They termed up as coin intelligence, which is a short form for contract intelligence. So this coin intelligence, the contract intelligence, what it used to do is, it has automated the entire process, entire document review process, and the load on the employees of the bank is reduced tremendously, so they can focus on other tasks that way, other important tasks, rather than this review task. So let's say they this coin software could review the bank credit contracts, loan contracts, and different contracts automatically. Now, one more thing which I wanted to, yes. So now again, Not only this was just a small example of one technology. Now the bank is not only using this technology, it has moved towards cloud, blockchain, and all the latest technology that are, I mean, that other banks are not even close to. So how it does it? First, the hiring part, which is very evident because it hires the best talent that is there. I mean, the students, let's say, or all the students, or the pure core cream of, let's say, Stanford and different other sectors. So they spend lots and lots and lots of time in hiring. They hire and they make sure that they get the best talent to them, for their company. So hiring strategy is one of the core strategy in the JP Morgan. And secondly, the technology investment. So whatever the latest technology that is there, JP Morgan makes sure to invest it in a good way. So you see, they have separated, they have around $350 million kept separately for this technology investment, whatever the latest technology is there. And not only this, next more important is the job training program, so that the people can reach more and more, the employees can reach more and more people. So it do spend time on the you can say on the uh, education of their employees, so that they get the best possible training and they are up with the current market standards. So all these things, keep on, you can say, interacting, and all these things are already there, and that's what makes it biggest firm, biggest financial firm in the US. So this, so I've already done that, the road, yeah. So this was the road to dilemma, that the coin, this contract intelligence is now, I mean, this has just started, where it has used it for the document review process. Now it will be obviously enhancing it and using it for various different, in various different fields, also for various different activities of the bank. But again, the job displacement was there. That was the dilemma, that people will start losing the job. So that's why I've already told you that they have started investing in the local education as well as the job training programs, so that more and more people can get good jobs, and job displacement also doesn't happen, though obviously it will impact the market. And now see, and now we can't predict that whether AI will actually impact the job, let's say in around 10 to 20 years, or we don't know that how things are going to change. Some says that it won't, because people will obviously, we definitely need people. Some will say that it will definitely impact. So let's see how things turned up after, let's say, 10 to 20 years. But this was just a basic idea, basic case study of, I took the example of JP Morgan because this is the best example, the best company to learn from. So I think I should now end this. The lecture is already over. So anyone, any question about
Uh,
this or any other thing?
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, can you just shoot us a mail regarding this related activity? It would be nice, if possible.
Regarding what, the presentation part?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, definitely I will
Yeah.
do. Any particular reason for that?
No, ma'am. I mean, it will be, quite, a few of the